Hi everyone, this is Tiffany, your host, owner, and creator of the Mix. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. Okay, I just wanted to hop on here really quickly to go over some Tory Lanez updates, information on what to possibly expect at the sentencing scheduled for February the 28th. Remember, the sentencing was rescheduled and it's February 28th. So, what to expect, what to possibly expect. Let me just jump right into it. Okay, let's do the rundown. Okay, Tory Lane's appeal team is the makeup of who? David Kenner. Who is David Kenner? David Kenner was the in-house power counsel for Death Row Records back in the 90s and I think early 2000s or whatever. That's when, of course, when Tupac was alive, and to my understanding, he was lead counsel for the entire record label. So, and also Snoop Dogg had murder charges, I believe, and David Kenner was his lead attorney, and instrumental in getting Snoop Dogg off in terms of being, I think, acquitted or whatever. You have to Google that, but basically, those were murder charges, something to that effect. But Snoop Dogg did not see a day in prison, in jail. So David Kenner has been around. He's a vet. Go to my videos and on my channel, The Mix. Go to my video section and you'll see um, a video update on who David Kenner is, his background, credentials, all of that. Okay, and we have two, Jose Baez. Jose Baez is a part of Tory Lane's appeals team as well. And he was Casey Anthony's attorney, which he got found not guilty of some serious charges uh, many years ago. Google that for your own update. I also did a video on Jose Baez as well. So about his credentials, who he is, his background, all of that. So go to my video section and just check it out. Just check it out. Jose Baez also represented the NFL star, the Hernandez guy, which that didn't go well in terms of court wise. So, and then later on, while the NFL star was serving prison time, he committed the S word. So, but Jose Baez, he's been in the field. He's been up against the machines in terms of being a great defense attorney, and he knows his way around the courtroom. He knows his way, he has legal connects and all of that. So just go to my video section to get a little bit more information on him, and also just Google his clientele from the past and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then we have finally Matthew Barhama, young vet. Yeah, Matthew Barhama. To my understanding, he's very skilled. He's the young cat, of the legal team, and sharp mind, all of that. And to my understanding, based on reports and news information out there, Matthew Barhama is great for post convictions, seeing those overturned. So basically, Matthew Barhama challenges the convictions that was placed on, of course, the defendant's guilty verdicts, basically. And he's been successful at many, to my understanding, especially going up against the machines in terms of over zealous prosecutors, and just being the brains and the blueprint and the intellect of diving into the case, and pointing out the legal errors, prosecutorial errors, things of that nature. Because remember what I told you guys, and that's in the previous video as well. Go to my video section of my channel, The Mix, and you will also see and hear a video about Matthew Bahama, his credentials, his background, all of that, his expertise. But as I stated before too in another video, and I've been stating these on all my legal commentary and opinion videos, about when you're a prosecutor or a DA, you have to color inside the lines. Now, do they color inside the lines all the time? Absolutely not, and it's not fair. So whether it's intentional or unintentional, meaning whether they're competent or skilled in a certain area, and then in prosecuting someone, or their knowledge within the system, if they're competent and don't have the competency, that's still wrong. And even if they do have a competency, it's still wrong. You have to color inside the lines, because what will happen is that the defendant will have a strong appeals case on hand, on deck, and challenge that. And when a case is being appealed to the higher courts, the courts doesn't hear all those arguments and this and that. It's basically up to the defense attorney, the defendant's attorney, to prove that this happened illegally against my client. There's miscarriage of justice in terms of prosecutorial misconduct, possibly juror tampering, or possibly incorrect juror instructions, or possibly maybe the judge did something unethical during trial in the courtroom. A lot of things are in question, so you have to color inside the lines, and that's what the appeals court is for anyone, in this position to challenge the guilty verdict. So there you have it. The powerhouse attorneys on deck. We have the vet, David Kenner. We have Jose Baez. Also, he's a sharp one. And we have Matthew Barhoma, the young cat, the intellect, the brains, I would say, in terms of digging deep into the eras of from trial. So that could be presented in a brief, and the brief is presented at appeal. Okay, so what to expect on February 28th? In my opinion, I believe, of course, February 28th, the sentencing will be rendered. Far as how many years, in my opinion, I really don't know. I hear so much about California laws and sentencing, and just the whole entire judicial system is just pretty I'm not gonna say complex, but pretty interesting. Um so there's a lot of injustice going on. So who knows? But someone mentioned in one of my previous Tory Lane videos that they believe, and I'm paraphrasing or quoting, that maybe Tory will probably be sentenced to maybe 5 to 10 at minimum. So we shall see. But yeah, sentencing will is expected to occur possibly on the 28th, because that is the sentencing. Number two, far as the victim showing up, MTS, do you all believe the victim will show up or provide a written victim statement for maybe someone to read? Maybe someone from from that label or her team will show up on her behalf. But do you believe the victim will put the nail in the coffin with a victim statement about all of this? So that's going to be interesting. And when I say put the nail in the coffin, meaning like, you know, you get my point, you get my point. So do you all believe MTS will show up to provide a victim statement in court, or will a representative from her team do that via a letter written possibly by her? So that's number two in terms of what to expect at sentencing on February the 28th. So, and I'm not sure if sentencing is going to be more than one day, especially depending on the logistics of it. But yeah. So, but yeah, those are a couple things to possibly expect. Um, Possibly expect day of sentencing for the Tory Lanez sentencing, February 28th, and also motion for a new trial. I'm not quite sure if Tory Lanez's attorney could focus on that. If that motion will be filed, because again, these are post-trial actions. Of course, sentencing is obviously a part of that, but post-trial actions in terms of motion for a new trial, or motion for acquittal or something like that, or motion to dismiss all charges. I'm not 100% sure if that could be brought up at sentencing. Possibly so, and if so, then Tory's client, David Kenner, he will advocate for his client with that motion. Will it probably be denied? Probably so, according to how everyone keeps stating how California's judicial system is. So if any post-trial motions filed by Tory Lanez's legal team is denied, appeals will be full in force and on deck. And so that's when the appeals process officially starts if the judge denies the any post-trial motions that Tory Lanez's attorneys will be presenting. And I'm not 100% sure again, like if it's going to be presented on February 28th during the sentencing hearing, if they're able to do that. But you never know. Sometimes attorneys try to push things in, wiggle away. That's just, the creativity and to see if, hey, the judge would be open to this or that, in terms of a motion being heard during that time, during the sentencing time. So you just never know. You never know. Sometimes attorneys may try that. You just never know. What's also what I wanted to focus on too is another possible expectation for February 28th, Tory Lanez sentencing. What to possibly expect is his what his attorney basically stated in regards to the protective order. Okay, it's here on this slideshow. This is Matthew Bahama. Okay, I'm gonna pause it right here. According to Yahoo News, actually the article was written by Vibe, but it's posted on Yahoo News website. These are excerpts from Yahoo News. Um, the article written by Vibe magazine, a digital article. So it states here, this is back in January from David Kenner. This is an excerpt of the article. Your Honor, most respectfully, there have been a number of other people connected with the case posting on social media and putting out statements, which is true. And when David Kenner speaks about other people connected to the case, we kind of get an idea of what he means. Other people connected to the case. I would suggest to the court that the way the protective order was written is a prior restraint on free speech, Kenner argued. I think it's inappropriate for Mr. Peterson to be put in a position where he stopped from using his voice. This is big. This is really big. This is monumental for his attorney to come right in and try to argue this. And this happened when he basically was subbed in and when he appeared in court officially to say, hey, I'm going to represent Mr. Peterson, Tory Lane, moving forward now on all post conviction actions and trial stuff, whether it be post motions or appeals. And so Kenner's question would be denied, and it was with the caveat that he could make this argument at again at Lane's next hearing. So at Lane's next hearing. So I don't know if that may be brought up at the sentencing on February 28th, but you just never know. Or sentencing, what is February? Like I said, February 28th. So it's possible that if anything is developing or come to the forefront for Tory's team, they could request a hearing prior to February 28th. So just keep this all in mind, everyone. Keep this all in mind. So yeah, what to expect at the hearing? Excuse me, not hearing, at the sentencing for February 28th, Tory Lane sentencing is the possibility of well, obviously the sentencing being rendered. Far as the amount of years, I'm kind of on that, but paraphrasing someone wrote on one of my post videos about Tory Lane, the last one, that sentencing probably would be, I think, 5 to 10. So go to that previous video and you'll see what the person commented on. Two, also what to possibly expect is the victim either probably showing up or a representative from the victim's team or MTS team showing up and providing a statement on her behalf. Like I said, putting a nail in the for Mr. Peterson, for excuse me, for Tory Lane. So yeah, and then third is if the attorney David Kenner will be bringing up dropping that protective order because he he believes that it's violating Tory Lane's freedom of speech. So yeah, so there you have it. And when it comes to that protective order, I can sense what his angle is. And I'm just hypothetically speaking, what his angle is possibly is, because it's not fair. You're basically shutting um, the defendant down. You know, he still has rights. We all have a right to freedom of speech, to speak on whatever. You know, now if an attorney, if Tory's attorney advises him not to speak on something, that's basically in his best interest for Tory Lane, hence his client. However, no one should be able to provoke someone's not provoke no prevent someone's freedom of speech. So yeah, so those to me are the things to expect: sentencing, victim statement, um, probably motion for a new trial. Motions, these post-trial motions may be brought up. And number four, the protective order being dropped. So those are the four things that I believe may come up at trial. So maybe not all four, maybe just two. And it may be something else added that we are unaware of. But as soon as I receive any type of developing news on this, please tune into my commentary and my reaction, obviously, of the Tory Lanez post-trial actions and appeals, and just, you know, all the content regarding this, because what I do is more of a deep dive, and I like to get into the meat of things to try to break things down so everyone can kind of understand the process. And as I stated before in the past, it is important to have proper legal representation, an attorney who is knowledgeable, an attorney who knows their way around a courtroom, and most importantly, an attorney who has the resources to advocate um, uh, for you as a defendant, whether it be civil or criminal. And civil is called a respondent, and I forgot the other term or whatever they use. But nevertheless, you have to have an attorney who's it's good to have, not have to have, but it's great to have an attorney who is representing you with knowledge, with a substantial amount of knowledge, substantial amount of years under their belt, have trial and errors, because every attorney doesn't win every case, you guys. But if you have one who's been in a courtroom, like a trial experienced attorney, not one who settles case, not one who cops pleas, that's no. I wouldn't. No, and I'm not giving out legal advice or anything like that. But hire an attorney that does not have trial court experience is a risk that you're possibly taking. So I would just encourage anyone, again, to conduct your due diligence. It's so much information out here at our hands via the internet. And when you're hiring an attorney, when you're hiring counsel, they work for you. You're paying them, and they're supposed to bring out just all types of resources and information, whatever the case may be, all top level, high level, top tier, your skills, knowledge, and resources and connection to advocate on your behalf, so there can be a favorable outcome at trial if it gets to that point. Or if you do cop a plea, it's a favorable plea that's plead down to the lowest of the lowest, that you can really come up out of that, and that you won't be on probation for 10 to 15 years. That's a horrible plea deal. If you're on probation for 10 to 15 years, n- the goal is to be on papers as less as possible. As less as possible. And I'm speaking from not my own personal experience, but experiences through others, and just being in this field and what I've experienced and seen and just dealt with in a practical manner, in the classroom time, and things of that nature. And also what I've seen through other cases that has graced the news media and all of that. So yeah, you guys, so let's get the conversation going in the comment section. What do you actually think may happen, or what should be expected in your opinion at the sentencing? Do you think the four things I mentioned will be brought up? Of course, sentencing will, of course, happen. And then number two, the victim showing up. Do you think that will happen, or a victim statement will be written? Um, And three, the motion for a new trial. Do you think that would be presented then or at a later date, or even probably prior to that? And then number four, do you believe that the protective order, do you believe his attorney will argue the protective order again at the sentencing? Because he attempted to argue that, which he did. Attorney David Kenner argued that at the substitution of attorney uh, court hearing date, and that was just to sub him in and out. But he's slid on in there. Hey, judge, can you, remove the protective order in some areas for my client? And that's basically so his client can speak on his own behalf about what happened. So yeah. So let's get the discussion going, you guys. Tune into the mix always for your updates regarding to Tory Lanez post-trial actions and appeals and all of that. I'm here bringing you guys my experience and my knowledge in this area through so many factors. And I thank you all for tuning into the mix. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. Like, share, subscribe, and let's get it popping in the discussion. and let's get the discussion going in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, everyone, to the mix. And again, this channel is a mixture of subject matters, topics for discussion. It's multifaceted. So I'm going to have a little bit of this, a little bit of that for probably everyone. But thank you guys for tuning into my commentary. Like, share, subscribe to the mix. Talk to you all soon. This is your host, Tiffany, signing out. Bye.